The Eastern Cape Rural Development Agency is a Schedule 3C entity in terms of the Public Finance Management Act, born out of a successful integration of the Eastern Cape Rural Finance Corporation and the Accelerated Shared Growth Initiative of South Africa, Eastern Cape. It has, over the last 2 years, undergone an exciting transformation process that is steadily positioning the organization as an authoritative voice on the rural development landscape. This integration process provides for a coordinated approach in dealing with the numerous challenges facing the rural hinterland. Although in its infancy, its people possess real and valuable experience and expertise in helping build vibrant rural economies, poverty reduction, food security, as well as building empowered communities. ECRDA is determined to develop, institutionalize, and sustain an effective, capable, and fit-for-purpose organization, including best-in-class project management, targeted research, and an innovation-driven agency. ECRDA shall live up to its vision and mission statement and thus bring the desired change in the quality of life of rural communities. The establishment of ECRDA is therefore the beginning of an exciting yet challenging assignment for those of us getting their hands dirty in what is often an overwhelming rural development space. By its very nature, rural development is a highly contested terrain with varying ideas on how best to address the challenges that confront rural communities and the hinterland. However, working with rural communities is an equally rewarding experience as it has the potential to bring about meaningful change. In its second year in operation, ECRDA has already made remarkable progress in helping rural communities take the preparatory steps towards the achievement of vibrant rural economies. ECRDA has achieved this through the continued provision of innovative and focused rural loan finance instruments, as well as the facilitation and implementation of high-impact priority programs, HIPs. These HIPs are made up of rural finance, agro-processing, forestry development, livestock development, and alternative energy. Furthermore, where opportunities exist for government to invest in those enterprises with a significant potential for socio-economic redress, it uses ECRDA as a channel to effect such change through its various financial instruments and other support mechanisms. In this regard, the ECRDA becomes the custodian of government's share interest in these enterprises. ECRDA subsidiaries are the Agricultural Research and Development Agency, which is in the process of being integrated as the overall operations of ECRDA. Government, through ECRDA, is a 51% shareholder in the Kangela citrus farm. The agency also participates in the management of associated entities such as the Majola Tea Estate, Magwa Enterprise Tea, as well as Ncecha Macadamia. In addition, the agency has also crafted 4 strategic goals which should guide the organization toward the attainment of energized rural economies. These goals include the creation of a competent and sustainable rural development organization, researching viable and sustainable rural clusters and nodes, effective program management and implementation, as well as stakeholder management and functional partnerships. The organization's holistic approach to rural development and its corporate strategy are aligned to and influenced by national priorities outlined in the National Development Plan. The Comprehensive Rural Development Program, which is led by the National Department of Rural Development and Land Reform, as well as the provincial Ilima Labantu. This calls on ECRDA to extend its offering beyond its loan finance and agricultural development tools, which requires the application of inspired solutions for the most pressing challenges that confront rural communities. These aspects include social development, education, health, logistics, rural infrastructure, water services provision, arts and culture, as well as sport. It is premised on the need for strategic and meaningful partnerships between state departments, the private sector, traditional authorities, and community organizations. As such, this strategic approach provides an exciting opportunity for ECRDA to pull together public, social, financial, and other resources that improve livelihoods while developing sustainable rural economies in the Eastern Cape. This approach ensures that rural communities become active participants in their own development. ECRDA will therefore continue to explore innovative and inventive approaches in the next 20 years of our democracy to change the socio-economic landscape of rural communities. One of these approaches is the implementation of ECRDA's Red Hub concept, which prioritizes the village as the center of operation. The Red Hub concept has at its core a mega-farm approach, which emphasizes the establishment of viable economic units, which entail pulling together fallow land in rural communities and turning these dormant assets into productive clusters. Examples of this work are the Ncoga and Mqanduli in Intsigayetu and King Sabata Dalingeba local municipalities, respectively. The Red Hub links three market elements of production, processing, and marketing to boost the competitiveness of rural economies and communities. These physical hubs should link production to the mills and other value-adding operations as well as marketing. The result is that production receives the market support it needs to flourish, and money is kept alive and circulates within a community as long as possible. This implies that value adding should be done by the community rather than by conglomerates far from these communities. In practice, this means, for example, maize should be grown by the community, milled by the community, processed and packaged in the community, and even sold back into the community, with the whole process being owned by these communities. These market elements therefore make up the value chain of the rural economy, with coordination, integration, and marketing being the core functions of the Red Hub. Ultimately, this concept creates a platform for economic activity, resulting in increased rural incomes through the facilitation of primary production, promoting rural savings, investment, processing, as well as the creation of a communal and external market. Moving forward, ECRDA plans to advocate for the establishment of a rural development fund. The purpose of this fund is to ensure the promotion of investment in rural areas to finance development in these areas. This initiative should be designed to interest equity funds and bankers for financial investment. Projects could include rural infrastructure, agriculture, tourism, and other industrial development projects. In order to achieve this vision, ECRDA will drive, coordinate, and facilitate the implementation of these integrated high-impact programs of rural development and agrarian reform by forming partnerships with communities, the private sector, and other public sector organizations. The ultimate objective is building a vibrant and sustainable rural economy. ECRDA, Masakhane, let us build together.